Christina Ness. I'm the art director at Intercept Games.
Let's talk about what it's like making like a space game as an artist. Is it difficult because you have to like base it on real world tech? Is it easier?
I guess certain aspects of it are hard, certain aspects of it are easy. I have a background as well in like a deep love of sci-fi and space travel. I interned at NASA, NASA Goddard Space Flight Center on the ISAT-2 team. I was doing educational public outreach, doing like storyboarding and basically like concept art for like animations that would help explain the instruments aboard the ISAT-2. So I've always been interested in space travel. My dad is a huge plane guy. He plays War Thunder religiously. So yeah, I kind of feel like all roads led to Kerbal in a way. There's aspects of it that are definitely challenging. It's a accurate space flight physics simulator. Right now we're out in early access. We've got our first patch out that came out last week. And so it's one big kind of physics simulation sandbox. And it's the most challenging game I've worked on because it is challenging to learn to play. But then once you grasp some of the basic concepts and kind of get over that bump, it all kind of comes naturally and comes very easily, and you find yourself learning aspects of spaceflight and interplanetary and interstellar travel that I think would have been a lot harder to grasp had I not learned it through a game. As far as the art challenges go, it's a fun challenge for me because I already have like an interest in environment art and geology, and this game is like pure geology environment art, right? All of our planets are obviously part of the Kerbal system, not the solar system, but they're based on real world analogs. So we're able to look, for example, when we're designing a planet like Eve, which is Venus is the real world analog. Not only do we have KSP1 to draw inspiration from because they've got Eve in game there, but we've also got Venus in real life to draw from, and we can look at like NASA's deep space photography images to figure out, okay, how do we want the atmosphere of Eve to look like from orbit?
Your game has a pretty hardcore community. Does that affect your art design, or when you change something, does that affect the process at all?
It definitely does. I mean, our audience is wicked smart. And, I've said this a couple times. I've been in the industry for over 10 years now, and I swear I'm not just pandering. The KSP community is my favorite fan base I've ever had on any game I've worked on. Not only are they clever, but they actively want to be treated like an intelligent audience, which I think devs should do anyways for their audiences. But they want their patch notes to be accurate. They don't want us to water anything down. They don't want us to interpret anything. They're asking us about Fresnel and frustrum culling and like a lot of industry speak that normally we would keep out of patch notes, but we're like, hey, you guys are smart enough to figure it out. You're intelligent. We want to give you like the accurate information. We interact with them on forums, on Discord, on socials constantly. KSP1 kind of set this kind of like established expectation that the devs would be really open and honest and kind of talk about the realities of game development, and we want to carry that forward with KSP2 as well. So yeah, they're wicked smart.
Your game is in Unity. As an artist, what does that open up for you technically and creatively?
Yeah, so Unity, we've got access to it's open source for us. We've got the code, which helps a ton when we're trying to solve problems or figure out what problems are happening under the hood. So we're able to look at that. Unity also, we've been able to actually essentially rent engineers from Unity Technologies to help us out. So we've got Skip Petty and Patrick DeVarney right now helping us out on GPU and CPU optimization and performance. Honestly, they've touched almost all aspects of our game, and they're doing tons of education with our team, just kind of ramping them up on maybe some of the more obscure or technically challenging aspects of Unity to help us make the best game we possibly can.
So what's next for Kerbal Space Program 2 that you can talk about? That's the key word there, right?
Oh, we've got a ton of stuff planned. If you go onto our socials or our forums, we've got actually an early access roadmap that kind of lays out roughly the order that we want to tackle the next couple features in. So we entered early access in February 24th. We've got patch 1 out as of last week that's got over 200 bug fixes, almost 300 bug fixes. Patch 2 comes out in a few weeks, and then next, the big ticket item on our list is getting science mode in the game, which is essentially a campaign. So right now, if you were to download KSP2 from Steam or the Epic Games Store or our online private division webfront, you'll basically get a giant sandbox. You can build whatever you want, go wherever you want, explore, right? But what science mode is going to introduce is a campaign and a tech tree, and like kind of slowly unlock not only parts that you can build vehicles with, but also unlock kind of the Kerbolar system for you. So players that want more of a guided experience, science mode, that's where you're at. We'll also bring back re-entry and heating effects so that when you enter a planet with an atmosphere, you'll see that VFX and that white hot heat pop up on the front end of your vehicle. After science mode and campaign gets in, then we are doing colonies. So we're going to introduce, gosh, it's like 200 to 300 colony parts so that players can build terrestrial and orbital colonies as well as off-world vehicle assembly buildings. So you can build those massive interstellar ships and vessels that you're going to need to do to hop between star systems, because after colonies go in, then we've got an interstellar update, which is going to add the Deb system to the game. So not only will you have the Kerbolar system to explore, you'll be able to do that long burn between two different star systems and then explore a whole new slew of weirder and geologically stranger planets in the Deb system. After Interstellar, then we've got exploration mode, which will add an unannounced star system, as well as various parts, and then multiplayer, of course, to kind of round it all out. We're going to multiply the KSC, the Kerbal Space Campus, 3 more times across Kerbin, so that up to 4 players will be able to work together as one space center or challenge each other in like a good old-fashioned space race.